This is where you got the cartel teaching you Spanish. What up, what up, what up? What's happening? Que lo que miente. Welcome to Love, Purpose, and Passports. Hope all is well and all are passport ready, a passport getting ready. For those of you that don't know, I am Mr. Pro for You, living in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. With this beautiful partner in Netflix crime of mine, Miss Pro for You.
Hello, everybody.
So how you doing today, Miss Pro?
I'm doing okay, your boy. Thank you for asking. How are you? What's going on in your life?
They always know how I'm doing when I look over here.
Oh,
no. What?
Oh, no.
Yes, indeed. You know, I posted that photo of us, that 2016. I mean, you know, sometimes we got to flex, let y'all know we've been doing this. You know what I'm saying? And we appreciate we appreciate the feedback you guys were giving us on our 2016 Zona Colonial photo. You know, it took us back down memory lane, just us looking at it.
My handsome baby. He was gorgeous then and he's more gorgeous now.
Post it up. You know what I'm saying? With this little fine thing right here. I'm like, I'm coming back. Bro. I'm going to be back soon. Woo! You know, but you know what that made me think of?
What?
So, you know, that was back in the day. So there's some other things that was going on back in the days that made me think of. Remember when you used to be telling me about, she used to tell me, Amor, there's this place where, you know, you can pull up in the car and order shots.
There was, I mean, I think the place is still there, but I think
you can't pull up and pull out.
I think they've cracked down on that. Well, there was this place that it was like an open, kind of like a parking lot. And in the middle of the open parking lot, they had like this little wooden, like a booth. And you used to be able to drive up to the booth and they had like this, like a sign that had all the alcohol and all the shots that you could order from there. And you could drive up to it.
Drive-through shots.
Say, let me get a shot of this and that and a beer. And they'd pass it to you. And you'd grab it and be like, bye, beep, beep, and keep going.
Roll out. You know what I'm saying?
So whenever he would come, I was so excited to jump. I was like, would you like something to drink? And he was like, yeah, sure, let's get something to drink. And when I pulled up and I was like, just choose it, he was like, oh, what?
That's where I learned doble. I need to do something now right there. You know what I'm saying? Let me get a double, a Don Julio, a Yeho.
I was like, the trick, mi amor, is have your sip, enjoy it, but just remember when we get out on the street, make sure your cup is over here when they can't see it.
Yeah, you just hold it down a little bit. I mean, you pull it right out of the drive. Everybody know that's the drive-through shot.
It was legal,
spot.
But it was questionable.
They were there. You know what I'm saying? And that was the spot. We should do it. I think that, remember, that kind of slowed down. Like after COVID, they didn't really come back being able to do it like that.
Spots.
Yeah.
They had a few of those spots in that same little area. So people, after work, I would just drive by after a hard day of work and be like,
tell me about that. Like I drive by, get a spot, get a shot right quick. I'm like, a shot? You can drive by, the shot drive through? I think it's still there, but remember, I think they got a park now. It's like a lot, and they park out there now, and they just bring the drink to your car. So you're still in the car, though. You know.
So now you can just drive up to the location. You could park, and then they'll walk up to the car, and they'll ask you what you want. And you could order food. And they've changed it a little bit, you know. So you can't just like pick up the thing and leave. People just sit there and they hang out. Now they're at their car, and there's music playing, and they have like sports, and so people go to watch the game. They sit in their car, and then on the like a big wall, they'll put up like the games and stuff they have going on. It's a lot of fun.
They got the screens out there. See, I was
a lot of fun.
You know, back in my, you know, a little, you know, little younger whippersnapper on the island. You know what I'm saying? And so I was a little bit wilder. You know what I'm saying? So I used to always carry my bottle. You know what I'm saying? So look, I carried my bottle with me so much. She brought me what was that? The flask she bought me.
I did.
Amor, can you take this flask and put it in here?
Please, you know, because he likes his bottle and he's having fun and he likes his drink and I want him to enjoy himself. But you can't just walk around everywhere with a bottle of Don Julio. We have been asked to put the bottle away on more than one occasion. Okay, mi amor, you know, maybe.
Look, we floating in the pool at the resort. I got the bottle in there floating right next to us while we enjoying ourselves, having fun. Look.
Yeah, we have been asked more than a little. So I found this beautiful flask and it had like this leather thing around it. And I was like, look at this is gorgeous. She's like, oh, this is nice. I'm like, Do you think that maybe we not use the
she was happy I liked it. She was like,
yeah. So good memories. Good memories.
Now we getting ready to get right to it. We're about to talk about the fella novellas.
The fella novellas.
This right here, this has been a part of my Spanish journey. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I used to always hear, when you listen to the people that teach Spanish, some people would say, well, you know, I used to watch, you know, the novellas and stuff, and it's how I learn or whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, let me check out the novellas. Before I go any further, beautiful lady of mine, can you tell them what novellas are? Because some of them may not know what they are.
A novela in English is a soap opera. Soap opera.
Soap opera. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. I ain't with all that soap opera stuff. No. But I'm like, you know what? Let me try. They said this is how you learn Spanish. And so I'm like, well, so I started looking through on Netflix. And so I finally found one.
He coined
He
made the word fella novela.
You know why I had to make that word? Because I was sitting there when we first started watching. She was so proud of me when we first started watching, right? She got to call her mom.
I did.
She got to call her sister, tell her, you know, excited. He's watching the novellas now. And I'm like, I don't really like how that sounds, even though I am. You know what I mean? So I had to coin the phrase the fella novellas, because this ain't that, you know, sitting around love story, you know what I'm saying, with the soft music playing.
These are
and all
novellas
that.
For men.
The fella novellas. So what we gonna do for you today, and I'm telling you, we providing this value to you fellas, because this right here, you gonna love this. We doing the top 4 fella novellas.
And as a language teacher, I have to say I really appreciated that my husband's choice of fella novelas had the right and exact translation.
In the captions.
Oh, it was great.
You got to put the captions on. That's how you start kind of like getting your way.
Right. Well, we would be watching it in Spanish, obviously, and then underneath you would see the captions in English. And as I was listening to it and reading it at the bottom, I was like, man, they did like a really good job with this, because there is nothing in the world worse than you watching something you enjoy and then the person is speaking in Spanish and then the words on the bottom are going all over the place and you're lost and you want to enjoy it, but you're like, what the hell is this?
Because I used to ask her, you know, and here's the beautiful thing about this. Like, as you start watching them, because when you first learn in Spanish and you're listening, it's hard to know where one word stops and another word starts. Like, I really had problems knowing, like, how to break up the words. But as I start watching it and start I'm looking at the caption, the English captions below, and I start telling, did they say this and that?
Right. Now we would have conversations about that. And then he would repeat it.
I start repeating the word and all that, you know.
It really helped with his pronunciation. He's very good. So
this right here, we talking about what is a fella novella. These fella novellas, this is where you got the cartel teaching you Spanish. Everything that goes on in the cartel's lifestyle goes on in these novellas. You got robbery. You got extortion. You got aggression. You got shooting, drugs, violence, killing, everything. Ooh, got the chicas. You know what I'm saying?
There are chicas.
Yes.
They're all over the place.
All over the place in all their glory. If your chica ain't got no chicas, you may not want to watch it with her, because, you know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, I ain't really got that problem, so we chill out watching it. But she may start like, I see why you're watching this now. No, this is for educational purposes only. But you will.
These are educational chicas?
They're educational.
They're educational.
They teaching you Spanish. They teaching you Spanish. You know what I'm saying? They're keeping you motivated.
The chicas are keeping you motivated to learn to speak Spanish
for the next episode. Yes, indeed. And here's the crazy part about these novellas: they got like 60 to 80 episodes, crazy, 1 hour a pop.
Yeah,
we be up there binge watching, and you know, I'll watch an episode. I'm with her. We sitting up there watching. Like I say, this is my partner in Netflix crime. We sitting there watching. She done fell asleep at the end before the first episode. Whatever the current episode we watched, she'll fall asleep. I keep watching. I done watched like 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then the next day, I got to back it back up. Show her. I said, it was on last night. She's like, it was. It was on. So I'll back it up. You know what I mean? And we start watching again. And I'm telling you, we giving you 4. This 4 will literally take you about a year. We don't have to do a part 2 on this
until... That's a whole free Spanish program.
Yeah. It's going to take a year because they each have like 80 episodes and some of them have 2 seasons. So that's 80. That's 160 episodes. You know what I'm saying? These things got episodes, man. But anyway.
Well, I was going to say for the people in LDRs, because we are the long distance relationship gurus, right? We don't know anybody else that's been in a long distance relationship. We look at people that say, well, we've been in a long distance relationship for a year. We're like, oh, that's so
little baby.
They haven't even had a real fight yet.
They don't even know each other yet. Y'all need to take a little longer. Y'all need to slow down.
Cute. Anyway, that's a wonderful activity for people that are like in LDRs. We used to watch things on like Netflix or shows or whatever. And then like I would watch it and he would watch it at the same time. And we would just enjoy ourselves. And this is a great way for you to do it because it's in Spanish. So if your young lady or the person that you're dating speaks Spanish, they have that in Spanish. And then you have the captions underneath. And it's something for you to communicate and talk about and have fun with. So other than you learning Spanish, they're really interesting.
It's on. I mean, it's on. It is. They doing everything in these novellas. I'm telling you. So let's get right down to it because we can keep talking forever about before we even get started. But we're going to start off at number 4 and we're going to work our way up to the best way. And I'm telling you, you will not be let down on any of these. I try to tell dudes sometime and they don't listen. But I know that y'all see the last video we did about the scope in the Dominican Republic. I made reference to one of the novellas. And then a couple of people asked, like, what was the show? What was the show? I'm like, we're about to do a video about that.
Yeah, we're going to inform you the goodness that we found here. The Fela Novelas.
So, beautiful lady of mine, can you give us Fela Novella number 4? What is it called?
Okay, so the number 4 is the Snitch Cartel Origins. So it's El Cartel de los Sapos.
El Cartel de los Sapos, because you may see the thumbnail that says that. You may see it in Spanish. You may have to look it up because some of these are not just on Netflix. Some of these you may find them on your Fire Stick. Some of them are on Amazon. This is the Spanish name.
Yeah.
So this one right here, based in Colombia, like the majority of them. And I think this one is loosely based on the Cali cartel.
Yeah.
So there's these young brothers, the Viega brothers, and it starts off with them being like young boys and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Well, it starts off with them being a little older, like around 1978 or something like that.
It's in the 70s. It's in the 70s. It's in the 70s, yeah.
And what it does is it talks about them, but it goes back in time to them being kids in 1955 or something like that. And they started off, they kind of had a little job here and there, you know what I'm saying? But they started doing little robberies. One of them was, when his brothers, it's always one that's worse than the other one. One that's leading the party. So one, he worked in the pharmacy, right?
He was selling drugs.
He worked in the pharmacy. And then he started, he wasn't really doing nothing. He started selling pharmaceuticals. He started taking the expired ones and changing the date on them and started selling them on the side. And he was like, man, this is getting money, So that was the beginning of that. But it works its way through the years to where they become, the biggest cartel around there. And, the activity is activated. They doing everything, flying back and forth between the U.S. and doing. And here's what's funny. Whenever you watch them go to the U.S., we sit there and look at each other laugh because whenever they say they're in the U.S., their accent, you're like, that is not the U.S. And those people are not even Americans that are playing their parts.
The American actors, they sounded like they were from like Russia.
Yeah, they always like German or Russian or something. It's funny, but you're going to love this one right here. Beautiful lady mine, what'd you like about that one too? You like the clothing or something like that?
Okay, I like something else that he didn't even look at. They spend a lot of money on this one.
Yeah.
Because when you look at it, the city, the houses, the decoration were all like 70s timepieces. And you really felt like it was the 70s. It didn't feel like a fake. It really felt like the 70s.
It did. It's nice.
So he liked all the cars from the 70s.
Oh, the cars was right.
I like all the shoes and like the clothes and the purses. So, because I like that look.
Money on that.
No, it was very, very well done. And the actors were incredible. The storyline, I like that it would go from like the past and then it would connect it to where they're at and then it would go to the past and it would. So it had like a lot of flashbacks. It was kind of
going back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of flashbacks. So I really enjoyed that. And it had like a lot of storylines. So it followed like the life of all of the cartel members. It followed the life of like a cartel member would have like a stable family life, and it was a beautiful home life.
Yeah.
But then in the evening, they were like in the prostitution place with like the stripper pole and like the women, and it was really interesting to see how one person can have like split person, and all the cartel people had like these split personalities, and it was really interesting to see because the family had no idea. They got older. They started.
Are you sure you're not doing these things? The city, the news, and the state, and all the law enforcement is looking for you. Sure you're not doing what they say? No, mama.
Yeah.
Oh, my son, I knew you weren't bad.
I really like this one because, like he said, it's based on a true story. So, like, if you're interested, you can go back and Google the actual characters. And I like that part where you can Google it and kind of look into it and be like, "Mi amor, he really did this," So I like that part too.
Yep. So that was good. And here's the thing. And this is the one that started that gangster-ish right here. This is the first one I found. You know what I mean? And so once I found that one, it was on. Yeah, it was on. So I started saving them.
It was surprisingly violent.
Yeah, I didn't expect none of that.
It was surprisingly violent for a novella.
It'll be going crazy. When they shoot people, they doing all kind of stuff. The next thing, they have a little tearjerker moment. I'm like, I always say, they paying their novella obligations. They always got to do every once in a while. Like here goes that same slow music, and they crying right there. Like they gotta walk that line to make sure it still can get there
a little bit. You know,
it still got to be a novella, but it's good. They was crying because they had to kill one of their homies' wife because she was cheating on
those
him.
were the crimes.
Those
were the crying moments.
And they buried her alive, so they had the sad music playing and stuff. It's like, this is crazy.
They did bury her alive.
That was, you know what? That wasn't even this one. We getting ahead of ourselves. I'm telling you, I get go. And here's something that you will begin to love, and I'm talking about you're gonna love this when you're watching it. You start knowing who all the Colombian actors are.
Oh, yes. We follow Colombian actors all the time. We love them. And we're always interested to see what they're doing now. And we go to their Instagram pages and everything.
Yeah, but what's funny is when you watch another fella novella, you're going to see some of the same characters. Yeah. So that was number 4. That's a good one to start with because you're going to like, especially if you like period pieces. And all these are pretty much, you know what I'm saying? But this one with that 70s, they got a club that they always go to. They got that Saturday Night Fever feel where the floor is like lit up, all the lights and everything. It's nice. You know what I'm saying? So that was Snitch Cartel Origins. El Cartel de los Sapos.
Good pronunciation.
So, I've been doing this right here. I've been doing this. So that was number 4. You're going to enjoy it. So that was number 4. We're going to give you number 3. This is a great one right here. Beautiful lady of mine. What was number 3?
Number 3 is La Piloto. This is a Mexican one.
La Piloto. This is the only one that's in Mexico. But what's funny is when I found it, I wasn't really sure yet. We started watching it, and lo and behold, in the first scene, who popped up? And this is why it's number 3 instead of number 2. We got excited because we saw Coyote in this one right here. Coyote is from the one that's getting ready to be number 2. He was so great in that one that as soon as we put on La Piloto and he's from Colombia, we saw him in there and we like, there's the homie, it's gonna be on.
And we loved it. We knew it was gonna be serious.
Yeah, he was Coyote in the other one. He was Colonel in this one. But was he Colonel in this one?
He was Coronel Santa Maria.
Santa Maria. Gangster. So, and it's funny because he was somewhat of a good guy in the other one, but he was cool.
Not in this one.
Oh, this one right here, boy. He ain't spared no one. So, again, this one's in Mexico, and most of these are all in Colombia. But one of the Colombian homies was in this one right here. So this one has the stars Yolanda Cardenas. She wants to be a pilot. And it's crazy because she started off, she was really like, just a young lady or something, right? And she got involved with this airport. She wanted to be a pilot. And she kind of like worked her way into like becoming a steward. She got fired from a job. And this other young lady took her to get a job as a stewardess. But she knew a lot about airplanes because that's all she dreamed of is becoming a pilot. Lo and behold, this airport, the cartel uses that airport to take care
do
of
cartel stuff.
to do cartel stuff. So next thing you know, she started to become, work her way up. But everywhere she goes, she's so beautiful. Everybody falls in love with her. The bad guys fall in love with her. Well, and we say the bad guys, there's the good guy cartel guys, and there's the enemy of the cartel guys. You know what I'm saying? Guys in the army fall in love. Everywhere she goes, they fall. I mean,
she was a problem.
Yeah.
She was a
they
problem.
all fall like, man, everybody is falling and they all dying and all that stuff. But this is a great one.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was going to say that Yolanda has like this model squad of stewardess. And they travel all over the world transporting drugs. And they're all tall and elegant and gorgeous and and they're everywhere just flying around, and now they're all involved with the cartel. So it starts there, and she eventually learns how to become a pilot.
She does eventually become a pilot.
So instead of being a stewardess, now she's the pilot flying the planes with the 100 million bajillion kilos in the thing.
In the plane. She's doing her thing. Yeah. And
well,
she has a special agent that's in love with her, and the special agent was working undercover with the airline. Coyote, who is colonel, is part of the army.
Wait a minute. What happens is her plane crashes somewhere where his army is stashed.
Coyote shot it down.
He did. He shot it down. And because he shot it down, now she's in the jungle with this sadistic, crazy, insane bad guy.
And what happened when the plane crashed and he saw it? What'd he do? He fell in love. He looked at her like, oh, she laying there bleeding a little blood.
He fell in love, but they beat her up though. Like they spare no one. Everyone gets beat up. They do not care if you're.
Doesn't mean he doesn't love her.
Yo soy el coronel Arnoldo Santamaría y soy el comandante.
¿Me puede pasar mi ropa, por favor?
I mean, that's how
that's these telenovelas.
Criminals show love. They beat people up. That's what they do.
Exactly. They beat them and kill them and all that stuff. But
crazy.
This is a good one right here.
So it shows how she escapes all of these plots, and it follows all of the supermodel stewardess and the cartel guys and the bad agents and the good agents, and it's a lot. It's interesting.
It's good. And just so you know, we're not even done with this one yet. We've been looking at this one for a while. We had a break for a minute and we back on it, but
it's like we didn't want it to end.
This one goes and goes and goes, and this one has 2 seasons. So, by the time the first season ends, you're gonna start the second season. And what's crazy is you see so many episodes, you be like, why don't they go? Sometimes you get tired of them, but you just can't stop looking. You know what I'm saying? You're like, come on, let's see what's going on next. Look, La Piloto. You know what I'm saying?
They get in all types of trouble.
It's a good one.
And the bad guys are just bad. It's not like a little bit of a bad guy. Like they think of the worst things that you could ever think that a bad guy could do, and they do it in this novela, and you're in shock. Like, oh, I can't believe they did that on TV.
They did it. They don't care. And this Colombian acting,
they do not.
They don't have no barriers in the way they touch. Like he's really grabbing that. Like they really. They are method actors.
I don't think is that still acting?
That is the method.
Is that still fake?
They are acting it out. So that's La Piloto. You're going to enjoy it. And I'm telling you, like, remember, the first one we told you was number 4. This is number 3. Next, we're going to number 2. This one right here, we at number 2. Beautiful lady of mine, give them number 2.
This one's awesome. It's called Undercover Law. La Ley
Secreta. This one is a good one right here as well. This one, again, how we say these are kind of based on true stories. This one is based on the undercover women, the women who were undercover cops that infiltrated the cartel on missions throughout Colombia. And what's so crazy about this one is in the city. This one, you got some of it's like the Charlie's Angels of Colombia. You know what I mean? Because I think it's like 4 or 5 of them. You know what I'm saying? It starts off with this young lady named Alejandra. She's not even a part of the crew yet. You know what I mean? Is that like a spoiler? Anyway, doesn't matter.
Yo no hago colaborar. Bueno, tráigame agua, por favor. Ay.
Great actress, so there ends up being like 4 or 5 of them, but some of them are in the city, some of them are in the jungle.
Deep, muddy, hot, slimy jungle where they make the product.
They make the product, and it's sweaty and it's jungly, and they are out there. Yeah, it's going down. The one that goes out in the jungle, she's out there, and she it's this dude who is running the lab out there. They call him Bigotes. Bigotes is like is that a mustache in Spanish?
Big mustache.
Because he got this big old mustache.
Huge.
Crazy as hell.
Disturbing.
He is crazy, and he has your favorite character in the show.
Oh, yes. He has the best little dog in the whole world. His name is Arequipe. That's the best little dog ever.
Yep. With a crazy daddy. And that one is like based more like you would think that it's maybe early 2000s or something, or maybe the 90s.
Late 90s,
early 2000s. That one isn't back like in the 70s or anything
I really like how they'll have like, they'll have the secret agents, right?
Mm.
And okay, this is the organization, the cartel. And then there'll be one part that'll be in charge of like the airplane. That's the one that flies it around. So then they'll have one agent infiltrate that part of the cartel.
Yeah.
And then they'll have the part that's in the jungle where they make the actual product, right?
Yeah.
So then they'll have that one agent infiltrate that. And then they'll have like the head of the, whatever that does like all the finances and the business.
And they'll
have somebody infiltrate that
you
part.
You explain that way better than I could. That's
so then like every agent has like, and then they have like the ones that actually, the how you say the mules, the person that's in charge of it, and they have somebody infiltrate that where, they'll have like people transported. Mm-hmm. So they have all the agents in all these undercover places. And my nerves were just terrible through the whole thing because I was always afraid that somebody was going to get caught. Like I was always on edge, like, no! Yep. So it was incredible. And the bad guys are still the bad guys, but in this case, the bad guys that they had were like, man, this guy is horrible. No, like crazy. He's just terrible. There was no law. They were out in the jungle and anything goes. It was like, oh my God. You just
don't know if they're going to make it. Are these agents going to make it through or are they not going to make it? Because I mean, like I say, everything goes in these cars.
I just needed the dog to be okay.
We don't know what happened.
It needed to be fine and then I would have been all right.
Hey, Undercover Law, La Ley Secreta, you're going to enjoy it. Now, this one right here, woo!
Papi, I don't know the whole song. I just know the one part in the chorus.
You gonna hear that over and over. That's like the.
And every time I see the song, you can't help but be like,
she does a dance to it. This is our favorite one. This is my favorite telenovela of all time. Number 1, beautiful lady of mine. Tell them what this one is.
Las Muñecas de la Mafia. The Mafia dolls.
Mafia dolls don't even sound right. This is Las Muñecas de la Mafia. Uh-huh. This is the best one ever.
Oh, it is.
You know what I'm saying? It has 2 seasons, but season number 1 is going to get you locked in to these fella novellas. You might as well, start off with this one right here because we got Braulio. Yeah. Braulio and Norman, they call him Normancito. They run this stuff right here. Normancito Braulio is the man.
Mm-hmm.
Normancito is his henchman.
He's the bad guy.
Yes.
The bad guy that works for the bad guy.
That works for the bad guy. You know what I mean? Then we got the Muñecas. The Muñecas, we got the head Muñeca of
What's
Muñecas.
a Muñeca?
Muñeca is a doll.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The little chicas. You know what I'm saying? They little mafia girlfriend chicas, right?
Yes, these are girls that specifically want mafia guys.
Mm-hmm.
So they call them Muñecas.
Yes, and
So
we got the head one, the main Muñeca of Muñecas, Lucrecia, Braulio's ex. She kind of like, you know, she's not the head one in charge. She's just
the cartel wife.
She's just the OG wife that's really the ex-wife.
Wife.
You know, he hates when she comes around because he wants a divorce and she not giving him the divorce. You know what I mean? Then you got Brenda. Then you got Olivia. Then you got Renata. Then you got Padme. Then you got Violatica.
Mm-hmm.
It starts off with them. They're a little young. You know what I'm saying?
They're
a little
high
young.
school. They're in high school.
They're graduating from high school.
Apparently, that's okay.
Yeah, they graduating. They were a little young, you know, but
they were kind of fast.
Yeah, they were already enrolled.
They were already fast. Okay.
So,
their aspirations were to be mafia dolls.
Yes, it was, and they became that. You know,
fully.
Yes,
completely involved.
They did. So this is what this was about. You know, they wanted mafia boyfriends, and man, so much stuff happened to them trying to be fast. They weren't trying to be fast. They were fast. You start messing with these mafia guys and it kind of like went well for a second like it always does. You know what I'm saying? And you just going to enjoy the journey. It's so funny that stuff like this happens where, remember when Pammy had to get the BBL? She got with a mafia guy. And this is the mafia guy. He's a cartel heavyweight. Asdrubal. He's a heavyweight. And he said, literally and figuratively.
And these are all beautiful model type, you know. And he said, you know, you're really beautiful, but you're kind of like,
you ain't got no chicas back there. It's flat back there.
I'm gonna need you to get a BBL.
And she's like, what?
He goes, yeah, you the wife of a you know, the woman of a cartel boss can't be.
Yeah, you can't be flat back there. I'm a big guy right here. I need something to grab on there back there.
So he made her get a BBL, and then while she had the BBL, he made the doctor give her
a tattoo on the back with
his name on it. Like, this is my BBL.
This is his BBL, Brizzy. Yes.
Hey, something really funny now that we're like laughing about stuff. Something really funny about it is apparently when they made this novela, they didn't like ask for permits to shoot out on the street. It would just be like them on the street with the camera guy. So people will be passing by and you could see people looking like, what's going on over there? And then like people will be filming and behind them, people would just stop and look and talk to each other. Be like, look. So you could see in the background that other people are like, and we're like, I don't think they're part of the scene.
Yeah, we thinking somebody about to pull up and do a drive-by because they're looking in the car.
These are people looking to see who's filming or what's going on. So it's hilarious. All through you end up catching things like that. It's so funny.
So one thing about this right here, Braulio, that's one of our favorite actors. We like Coyote. We love Coyote, but we love Braulio. You know what I'm saying? Because he was in a few other ones too. But you know, he carried the part, and I think at one time Braulio went to prison. They got the old school prison where it looked like a whole living room inside of there. You know what I'm saying?
They had alcohol, visitors, phones, liquor,
everything, chilling. You know what I'm saying? And here's the funny thing about all these cartels, they wasn't scared of nothing except for extradition to the United States, to Estados Unidos. That's when all the testosterone and base went out there. They did not want to anything but getting shipped to the United States.
And in all of the cartel,
all of them,
you see the same thing. Their only fear is extradited to the federales. That's like their.
They be in jail. Sometime when they're in jail, they leave out of jail to go take care of some business or to go party right quick. They come back to jail or bring the chicas in jail. Yeah. Living, like I said, it's like an apartment. You know what I'm saying? In their jail cells. But this was good.
You know what I liked about this? I like that the cartel guys, they took care of serious business. They were gangsters now. They were hardcore. If they needed to handle business, you could see in their face they're about to handle business in an ugly, ugly way. but they always had a lot of fun. Like, they
did.
made being in the cartel look super fun. There
They
were always
partied.
parties. They were always in the pool. They were always drinking. They were always dancing.
Had
they were on horses.
chicas, just groups of them around.
Yeah, and the girls would be topless, just running around
out there
in the novella.
Hey, and this is what she used to always say. Anytime I gotta do novellas, she always say, "Where do you find these?"
My God, mi amor. Is there like a secret location?
I got a list, man. I got these things on lock. Yep. But this got something.
No, I was just gonna say how much fun we had watching them, because it would just be so serious and so scary, and they really got rid of things, you know, in like an ugly cartel gangster fashion, and the men were total hombre macho. You know, they would in a heartbeat tell a woman to shut up and sit down and spank her.
Take off his belt and give her a whooping.
Yep. Can they even do that on TV, mi amor?
No, Misito. Hey, you got to watch these foreign ones. These foreign novellas, they're not with all that.
Oh, they do
stuff,
not. They are not caring about.
They are traditional.
They are. It's something going on over there. It was serious. But man, you see everything, and then so you follow the life of all these young ladies, and they all come from like Campos. Some of these girls are a little richer, some of them whatever. Yep. And they all kind of end up with the same mafiosos. They all kind of end up in that same cartel. Yeah. And it shows how their life evolved by being around them. And it shows the lives of the actual cartel guys. And, you know, good guys and bad guys come in and out. And you kind of see how that goes. And
just think, 80 episodes. Yeah. You living with them every night.
Lucrecia is my favorite though, because she's like the wife, the first wife of the cartel boss. And she is just glamorous, elegant, and gorgeous. And, you know, she actually looks better than all the little young muñecas, to be honest.
Yeah, they ain't learned yet. They ain't learned how to, you know, be the big time, you know, the queen.
She was the big time queen muñeca of it all. But yeah, her character was crazy, so she would get mad and end up beating up the muñecas. And you would see them fist fight.
She showed up after school graduation to beat up one.
She's really pulling her hair.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they really nah, they really touching in these novellas and everything. They doing everything. But this one, Muñecas de la Mafia, is the best one ever.
And man, they even translate the profanity accurately. Like sometimes they'll be like, "No, he really said that. Look how they translated that." Yeah. The translations are
they're good. You know, so they
nothing
good.
Better than that.
And like I said, this is good for your Spanish journey. I have tried to tell people, try to tell guys about watching these, and they, you know, when you tell them about stuff like that, they ain't seen it. They just be like, "Oh, okay, they don't really watch."
Because they think novela and soap opera. They don't know you're really talking about gangster flicks, long-term gangster movies. This is what we're looking at.
I got the cartel teaching me Espanol.
The cartel taught my husband Spanish.
Yes, it did, and I'm enjoying it. And it's just like once you start watching, you can't stop watching. And when it starts getting toward the end of the episodes, you start getting like, dang, what am I going to watch this? I got another one. I still got about four novellas we ain't even watched yet.
Oh, my.
I got them. But look, hope y'all enjoyed this. This was a quick video just to let you know we always got something for you to help you on your journey. And this one right here, this is going to be very helpful.
Papi.
Hey. Hey, what do we always tell you? We always say we're going to say it earlier, but we're going to say it now. Like and subscribe. Love, Purpose, and Passports.
Bye.
Peace.